Warning! This video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and a Mad Max. And I'm actually pretty happy about this one. This is one that I've been sitting on for a while, that I've been waiting to make, that I wanted to come back to make. I wanted this out before Star Wars Celebration 2019, because I 100% believe that in the future, I'm not sure how quick they're going to announce it publicly to the general public, but I think John Favreau is the president of Lucafilm, or will be shortly, and that he's already handling things for Star Wars behind the scenes, beyond just The Mandalorian. I'm putting my speculating and Star Wars rumor talk credibility on the line here, but I 100% believe that he will be, if not announced by Star Wars Celebration 2018 as a successor to Kathleen Kennedy, at the very latest, shortly after Episode 9 is in theaters, and before D.B. Weiss and David Benioff trilogy, Episode 1 gets into theaters. I honestly do not know of a more qualified person. I too love Filoni, and I think he would do an amazing job. But I also think taking him out of a role of a creative at Lucasfilm and directing shows, live action, animated, if he were to become president of Lucasfilm, it would actually deprive us of some great Filoni shows and movies. So I actually think this is a better fit for both. Him working with Favreau would be best for the Star Wars property. Great direction with Favreau, with the mind of Filoni. And both approved by George Lucas. Now, they won't also, it'll be a long time before they admit that there's been a shift back towards George Lucas approved people handling Star Wars. They will never admit it. Kathy won't. And there was a big sign as to when this went down, when the fandom was getting divided, but no one could come up and say how great the end of the series for Rebels was. It was a big telling sign for Kathy. There's bad blood there. But getting back to this, looking at the end game, and back to where MCU is right now, and where it started. Now, Feige has done an amazing job. But the original Iron Man movie was so well crafted that it set the tone, took the chance on its biggest character by letting Robert Downey Jr. play it. He was not a go-to guy in Hollywood at the time. Favreau took a chance on a friend, and he started the ball rolling with that film. I think if you remove Iron Man with Downey and the way it set up the other MCU movies, and just kept the other original MCU movies for, like, say, Thor or Captain America, I don't think it works. Or we wouldn't have got there this successfully. Feige deserves praise, but I don't think Favreau gets enough. Not only that, he has many other notches on his belt, with a long and rich history in Hollywood, with tons of connections, and many successes with many different kinds of films. Before The Jungle Book, Disney was also struggling to get their live-action remakes to be successful. Look at what could happen with live-action remakes. Look at Aladdin. Favreau, and now the Guy Ritchie Disney movie remake. There's a big difference. Favreau is quality. He is liked by all sides of this big Star Wars mess. That's what happens when you don't get right talent. Favreau is the right talent. He's a big Disney guy. He's a fan of all this, and he does right by the fans. And you know what? I do like representation when it works. Look at The Jungle Book. That worked. He's the only one that gets it gets it to work and doesn't push it in your face. It's natural. Favreau kickstarted both MCU movies and the Disney live-action films of both Jungle Book and The Lion King. Now, you may say Disney just can't do anything right except remakes. But there's something magical about the Favreau productions of The Jungle Book and Lion King. It's an amazing accomplishment, and it's a benchmark for special effects. Get back to that. Remember when Star Wars meant pushing the boundaries of special effects? That is so closely tied to Star Wars that it has been desperately been missed with the Disney Star Wars movies. I am a big prequelist. When the prequels came out, they were groundbreaking. Now, in retrospect, everyone likes to crap on them. But go back and think to that pod racing scene, or everyone really does not like the Clone Wars. Go back and remember the Clone Wars with Yoda in action, taking that light. That was amazing. We're not getting anything amazing or groundbreaking with Disney Star Wars. That's until Favreau officially takes over. The Mandalorian looks like it's got that Star Wars magic. And I think he's sliding into the role behind the scenes. He's putting his polish on The Lion King. And he's kickstarted the Disney Plus streaming Star Wars live-action series, The Mandalorian, while getting Filoni on board. And that's the other reason. I think that was his call, not Kathy's. Kathy can care less about Filoni, as she has shown with her failure to even acknowledge his accomplishment when the Rebels series finally aired. I might make another video on the failures of Kathy as a president of Lucasfilm. I cannot believe she gets away with not acknowledging that great series. How can she call herself president and not take care of all of her workers? What a failure. But that's another clue that I think the Favreau decision, it was a Favreau decision, not a Kennedy one. If you've also watched my previous speculation vids, at Lucasfilm, I believe there's a very strong Lucas versus Kasdan mentality. Meaning the workers there, the families there. There's a lot of nepotism at Lucasfilm. They keep it in the family, and I think there's factions, just like any workplace, who really has the talent. And when everyone was crapping on the prequels, I think the Kasdan's, the real talent behind Star Wars mentality, really grew. And you know who would give into that mentality? Kathleen Kennedy. She abused her role, and she also picked sides, completely investing in Kasdan and family as the real talent behind Star Wars. Look at how much John Kasdan opportunities he got, when in reality, one is not good without the other. Without George's imagination, a Kasdan script is boring and dull. Look at Solo's Star Wars story without George's imagination. And a George Lucas production needs a Kasdan script to wrangle in a bit. Neither works without the other. So the right guy, the right talent, that also pops up everywhere. This also goes along with my theory that he was already making decisions. Now, he has a small role in Solo's Star Wars story, but he pops up at every Star Wars premiere, and his presence in those picks just feels like authority and support to me. An authority and approachability and a talent that Kathy never was, is, or will be. Now, with this amazing theory, why would they wait to tell the fans? For many reasons. Kathy is the president in name only. She has very little to do with Star Wars anymore. It's in a slowdown, so there's nothing to be president of. She's not involved with the live action series or the cartoon series, as she's shown by not even acknowledging the accomplishments of Rebels and Filoni. And doesn't need, for the next, let me get back, sorry, I lost my place here, my thoughts here. And they don't need to announce it yet, because the next Star Wars movie after 9 will not go in theaters until at least 2021. And even though behind the scenes the next trilogy is in motion, there's new projects starting, announcing it before Kathy is officially, publicly out and Episode 9 is done will put that Kathy Kennedy stank on it. And everyone wants a fresh start. I do think she is busy with something, though. But I'll leave that for part 2 of this theory. And I would appreciate some comments and thumbs up. When I get the 200 thumbs up, I'm going to get that video started. Another reason is that they're not announcing it is SJW outrage. If they actually say that Kathy is done publicly now, they will lose what little support they still have from the SJW community that loves The Last Jedi. Could you imagine the outrage? There was never going to be a headline of Kathy Kennedy fired. That's what my whole channel's about. You may be looking for that official title. Everything in Hollywood is all about hype. Happens behind the scenes. You don't find out till later, but it's happening now. You're not going to know till years down the line. Things for Kathy already happened. We did get her out of the Lucafilm role. And the other reason I'm sure of it is Kathy herself. Now, what do I mean by that? She doesn't and will never care about Star Wars as a property. Only caring about where it's going to get her. So now I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger for this video. Smash that thumbs up like Kathy did a holdo maneuver to the fan base. And in part 2, I will lay out my complete theory as to what is going to happen at Disney and Lucasfilm for the next few years. Going through everything. So I hope you like this one. I worked hard on this one. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me if you think I'm right. And tell me if you still think Filoni would be better. Because after many months of theorizing about this, and what I believe to be true, I make videos that I actually believe. I could be wrong, but I really believe it, that you're going to see Favreau as president. Tell me if you think I'm right, and tell me if you think who would be better, Favreau or Filoni, after reviewing this video. I'll see you in the next one, guys.